just because I represent a company or because I am an employee of one company over another, does that mean I love every storyline? Does that mean that I agree with every decision? No, of course not. I'm not the booker. I don't have power. I haven't had power for more than 4 years now in that company. And I know that's going to sound odd because, like, well, Kenny, you're an EVP. I'm nothing. I am nothing. And I'll tell you why. It's because I'm a terrible EVP. I don't deserve to be an EVP. If people want to ask for my advice, I'll do my best to help them. If there's a fire to put out backstage, I'm going to do my best to be that person. But if we go back, and I don't want to have to comment on it, but I'll do it just because, you know, it adds context to it. I thought my duty as an EVP during Brawlout would be to enter the situation while there was chaos, de-escalate it, and create a peaceful environment for everyone. I was able to create a peaceful environment for the most important person in that altercation, and that was Larry. And I swear to God, honestly, that was my biggest, and yeah, it sounds funny, but like, I look at animals and our pets as people, and as, you know, Dobby, of course, one of the most important people in my life. So to get little Larry out of there was the most important thing to me, and that was the success. Unfortunately, try as I may, things were too chaotic for me to be able to do anything by my own power. That was a moment when I had seen that there were... Good call. I believe it was in that instance when I realized that the way that I wanted to go about things wasn't necessarily the way that other people wanted to. It was also the way that other people necessarily didn't want to. And then it was also maybe not the way that the boss wanted to take care of it. And I also thought of myself as a liability because I don't want to say old school. I'm not old school. I've just played a lot of contact sports, and I've gotten into jiu-jitsu and boxing and mixed martial arts. I just know that sometimes when you perform or when you fight, when everything's on the line, when you give your heart, when you give your soul towards something, and you're in that moment of high stress or high anxiety, where you've maybe emptied the tank and you're just physically exhausted. That was actually very impressive. A good punish. Yeah. When in an environment like that, sometimes emotions get the best of you and people will want to throw hands. And in the case, and I'm unfortunately or fortunately a believer of it, I think if it's decided that, hey, this is the best way to solve things and you can shake hands after and move on after, I'm a believer. I'm actually a believer of fighting. I am, and that sounds terrible to say, and which is why, like, don't make me an EVP in 2024. You know, you can't do that stuff anymore. I just feel that sometimes that's how you have to settle things. Sometimes. And I don't mean you have to settle it and then it has to be shown on screen to everyone, or people have to brag online about who won, who lost. No, like, it's not for that purpose. It's for the purpose of just getting that stuff out that you need to get out. And I mean, I'll admit there were a number of times, even now with me, where I thought that might have been the most appropriate answer. It never came to that. We were able to talk things out, and we became better friends, and there was a level of respect at that point on between myself and these other parties. And maybe I'll share these stories later. It's but I always, it's crazy. As much as I believe in cooler heads prevailing, sitting down and talking, sometimes it was just like, hey, I can't even think straight until I start throwing some hay, you know, or maybe that I need to be smacked around a little bit, whatever the case might be. I think if it's a contained scenario, and if it's not a situation where it's, you know, there's like pulling people's eyeballs out, you know, low blows, hair pulling or scratching, you know what I mean? If it's just like, hey, let's just hang and bang a little bit, I I can see it sometimes being conducive for a positive work environment. Again, this is exactly why I have no power, nor should I. So that's just how I feel, and I'm gonna leave it at that. What's my status with Punk right now? Did I ever have a chance to talk to him? Status of Punk right now? I don't know. It's just mutual respect. We reached out to each other.
That's for teabagging me. Sorry.
Yep.
It's Rampage time. I don't think it.
No, it's that's the thing. It's like it's not like, hey, we're good now. We're never bad. Honestly, if it weren't for a complete other factor, we would have been able to have that talk on the night of Brawl Out. There's no issue between him and I, as far as I know. I don't think there is at all. I don't want to seem standoffish or like secretive about what happened. Like, yes, there's legalities and all that stuff, but even if there wasn't, I know this will sound weird because I've done a lot of comedy stuff in wrestling, but like I'm actually not a huge fan of like pulling back the curtain on stuff that doesn't need to be out in public. That's what I'm saying. Like, if for whatever reason guys were to fight or whatever, like it's not for the public to know. That's just for them to air out their stuff, to get it out of their system. That's all I mean.